All right, I'd like to call the Physical Service Committee meeting to order. Please call the roll.
Councilor Enright.
Here.
Councilor Walker.
Here.
Councilor Barlow.
Here.
Councilor McLaughlin.
Here. Looking for a motion to approve minutes of May 18th, 2015 committee meeting. So moved.
Second.
Councilor Enright.
Yes.
Councilor Walker.
Yes.
Councilor Barlow.
Yes.
Councilor McLaughlin.
Yes.
Under old. Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to let everyone know that we're having some camera problems tonight. So as far as the meeting goes, the camera for the council is going to be this one, and that one's going to be the audience one. So if you guys can just kind of be aware when you get up to speak that we're using that camera tonight for the public.
That means I look over here for the...
If you really want. Yeah, you can look at that.
Okay. Under old business, I see there's none, so let's move on to new business under authorization. Item number 1, the engineer's office has received a request from Mr. Joseph Gunter, owner of a single-family dwelling at 47 West Schuyler Street, located in the First Ward, for use of public space, 5.5 foot by 26 feet, for a new covered porch, as well as use of public space, 3.5 foot by 5 feet, for new steps between the sidewalk and property line fronting West Schuyler Street. Attachment. Is Joe here to speak on this? No Joe? No Joe. Anybody here to speak on this?
Not yet. So I just know a little bit about this one, and this gentleman had come into the engineering and zoning office a couple weeks ago wanting to put back up a porch that had apparently been on the residence at one point in time. He showed us a photograph showing that that was the case, but it's been gone for a long time. I looked at pictures and pictometry back to 2006, and the porch was gone at that point in time, so that's why we had him come in and request the use of public space again to rebuild the porch and the roof.
I did notice that this is already in progress, this request coming up, so I was curious, did anybody of codes...
There was a stop work order on the project, I believe.
Chief Proby?
Yeah, there's an active stop work order on it, is why I have one of the code enforcement people here with me. It's been built. I would respectfully ask that maybe you table this until everything can get figured out. That thing's up. I just went and took a look at it. There's new treated lumber on it. It's whatever you want to do with it, but it's up all except the roof now, and there's a header going up there where the roof's going.
I'm going to agree with you on this, Chief, because I looked at it and I didn't think that we were ready for this to come forward yet, so I'm going to make a motion to table this. No problem with that.
Councilor Enright.
Yes.
Councilor Walker.
Yes.
Councilor Barlow.
Yes.
Councilor McLaughlin.
Yes to table.
All right, moving on to item number 2. The engineer's office has received a request from Mr. Don Belcastro, contract purchaser of Adirondack Manor Adult Home at 24 East Oneida Street, located in the 4th Ward, for use of public space, 166 linear feet, for a 4-foot high metal fence between the sidewalk and right-of-way fronting East Oneida Street. Is Don Belcastro here to speak on that? Could you please come forward? You have this camera over here is for you.
Hi, I'm Don Belcastro. How can I help you?
Well, could you just tell us about what you're doing here?
I think it's a great neighborhood. I think it's a great building to get going again. And it is on a corner, so we're concerned about the sight line. The fence we're proposing is just a black vinyl wire fence, 4 feet high. And probably, there's already been a new roof put on the building to signal the beginning of the project. This is another signal to the community that change is happening. Millhaven is going to be renamed Legacy House, and the exterior work is going to be extensive. Maybe it's just a portion of that. It's sort of the idea of fences for good neighbors. speak on that?
Yes, I think it's a good project going to happen. They do excellent work. I've seen some of their work before, and put a nice decorative fence up. It'll just enlighten the neighborhood. I'm going to support this.
Anybody else have any comments?
Make a motion.
Second.
Counselor Enright?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Barlow?
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Under item number 3, Amy Birdsall, Planning and Zoning Director, received a request from residents in the 5th Ward of the City of Oswego for use of public space between the sidewalks and the street to plant 4 flower beds. They are participating in a Neighborhood Pride Grant for the Oswego Renaissance Association. The locations are as follows: 4 at each intersections of West 8th and Erie Street. Birdsall?
Karen Doughton is here tonight, and I'm wondering if, Karen, if you'd like to speak about the flower beds?
Karen Doughton, 248 West 8th Street. Like you have interacted that West 8th and Erie, the intersection, there's 4 herb gardens to be installed. I have 5 residents that are helping me with these. It's going to be low maintenance, mostly hostas, perennial flowers, very low to the ground. They won't feed any sunny or view of any traffic or anything. Like I said, I have the support of 5 other residents. That's about it.
Thank you. And Counselor, you have any?
Sounds good to me. I just thank the residents for going the extra mile, putting an extra effort. Make a motion.
Counselor Enright?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Barlow?
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin?
Yes.
And we need a resolution?
I'll prepare it.
Item number 4, Amy Birdsall, Planning and Zoning Director, requests use of public space by Paul Stewart, Director of the Oswego Renaissance Association, in order to place 26 36-inch by 48-inch signs advertising the neighborhood blocks in the area that have been awarded block challenge grants and neighborhood pride grants. All these signs are similar to those you saw last year throughout Oswego. Like last year, the signs will go up in early June and will be taken down on October 30th. Is Paul here?
I think the request itself is we've actually funded 17 blocks for 19 streets this year. About $154 in grants to the city. In addition to that, we've got about 7 or so different pride grants that are done in parks and programs. This is similar to last year, where the signs specifically described. I think it will be a great signal to community all the work that's going on and revitalization happening.
Thank you. Is there any other comments?
Yes, I'd just like to say this is a beautiful thing that they do for the city. The signs are nice looking, they're pretty appealing. You know, it shows the older house, you know.
Anything else?
Second.
Counselor Enright?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Barlow?
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin?
Yes.
And we need a resolution?
Yes. We have an add-on here, and this is Counselor Sean Walker requests that the Common Council place a limitation of use of public space and any private sales in the 4th Ward. Any private sales in the 4th Ward will be allowed 1 weekend per calendar month, Friday, Saturday, and/or Sunday. Counselor, go ahead.
Yes, for the last month and a half to 2 months, I had a perpetual yard sale, and there's nothing we can do to stop this. It's in public space, we're using our public space, and what we'd like to do, you know, we went over and talked to the guy, he goes, I'm not breaking the law, and he isn't breaking the law. So I'd like to do this in there for the resolution in. I have one of the residents in that area who would like to speak on it, who lives right next door. And it's not too appealing every day after day after day, seeing what we've got out there. So if the gentleman would like to speak, I'd like to have you come up. Tell us what you say.
Thank you.
Just state your name and your address. Please.
My name is Peter Jansen. I reside at the corner of East 4th and Mohawk, 40 East Mohawk Street. I've been there 40 years. My wife and I have invested a lot of money in this property. This was once the Harold Long home of Long Chocolate Factory, which is here in Oswego. Since I retired in 2009, I've spent more time at home, spending more money on the house, and investing more of myself. And we've decided to stay here in Oswego, retired. We like to go south through the winter, but we also enjoy this home that we raised our children and our grandchildren enjoy. But this is a quality of life issue. The gentleman across the street sets out laundry baskets every day, spray paints the prices on city property, and walks away. It's an unintended lawn that happens daily, based on the weather. I'm just here to support Sean's resolution. We need to do something to regulate it, to put something into the teeth of the code enforcement, so we can step forward. This is really just a simple issue, common sense, something that we can all agree to. Basically, that's it. Thank you.
Any other comments?
I'd make a motion. Second.
Counselor Enright?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Barlow?
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin?
Yes.
I have no other authorizations here.
Motion adjourned.
Yes, we have one more.
Got one more?
What do we got here? Mugs and Motors. Okay. Mugs and Motors are looking for 4 A-frame signs, and we got here.
John Canale and John Canale Drive at Second Street.
Okay, so we're looking for approval on John Canale's Drive and 2nd Street for some A-frame signs. I have no problem with this.
I'd make a motion. Second.
Counselor Enright?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Barlow?
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin?
Yes.
And we need a resolution?
Yes, we'll need a resolution. Prepare that. Amy? Amy, could you make that list of A-frame signs for the ones? Okay. No other business here.
I'll make a motion. Adjourn. Second.
Counselor Enright?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Barlow?
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin?
Yes.
I'd like to call to order the Planning and Development Committee. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Barlow?
Here.
Counselor Walker?
Here.
Counselor Van Buren?
Here.
I have a motion to approve the minutes of May 4th, 2015.
Make a motion. Second.
Counselor Barlow?
Yes.
Counselor Walker?
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Anything to come before this committee under old business? Seeing none, moving on to new business under authorization. Mayor Thomas Gillen received correspondence from Kristen DeSantis of the Sting of Oswego for a variance for the noise ordinance in order to have live acoustic music on the patio between the hours of 6 p.m. and 2 a.m., 1 or 2 nights a week, Wednesday through Saturday evenings during the summer months, including Harborfest. See the attachment. If anyone from the Sting is here?
Well, we did this last year, and we never had a complaint. We didn't only have a complaint. There's to, do something.
Well, there's no, the proper application isn't attached to it, but I guess my question is Wednesday nights going to 2 a.m. something you're really,
I just put that in there just because. Right now, we have dance out for 2 nights, Friday, Saturday, and Harborfest. I put the same thing in every year. We haven't got anything like Harborfest. Except I might have one project because we're going to have our anniversary party.
Okay, any questions from the councilors? Councilor Walker.
I just have one thing. We just approved the one downtown. Could we go to 130? That's it. You want
I
to
don't want to
do
do Harvard, so do whatever you want.
just one? Everybody's been doing 130.
Councilor Enright.
I just had a couple of questions in here, and a couple of comments. One, I just noticed that the paperwork, the official form, request form, there's a letter, but there's supposed to be a request form that's in our noise ordinance in the code, and ask questions sort of like how you're going to control the music, how do you regulate the sound, if you have sound panels or insulation, et cetera, et cetera. There's a form that no, there's a special request form. Okay. Second, you're in a residential.
No, it's a business.
You are a zone business.
Yes, I am.
Okay, because I've been inquiring, and I just want to verify that you are not in a residential section. The other, I heard it was 85 decibels in for. Pardon?
Hard time hearing. You got to speak a little louder.
85 decibels was the request for what you're on this form, and in the past when you came up here, I know we've had a lot of complaints, especially from the neighbors on the 85, and the last variance we were granting, we lowered a decibel level down to 80 decibels. Okay, and the other issue, I know we've also have requested. You had a 2-strike rule that was in place for you on anything, and apparently you had no problem with that last year. That's and the other one here, it says acoustic.
No, I don't know why that's in there, because I just learned last year that acoustic is, amplified. We got amplified.
So you're talking regular amplified band.
Same two-piece band, same band that played the last year, same band that played the Nellies. I mean, they're all the
And you're talking about throughout the summer, right? Or are you just talking for HarborFest?
I want to have the right to do it. You gave us the right the last 2 years or 3 years. Never, I did it one time 4 years ago. We haven't done it since. All we're doing is HarborFest. And I just want the option to be able to do it if something comes up. We had a fundraiser there on a Sunday afternoon. The 2 guys playing the guitar. We went there to the end of the building and we shut the fundraiser down in the middle of that. This is plenty of time. The other thing is, in August, I'm going to have a band out there for my 30th anniversary.
Well,
And that's going to be real.
and also, I'm trying to be consistent with everyone that comes up here. I would think that we're just being in inconsistency. There was also a statement here about where the noise level is located. When we do a decibel meter, if a complaint is called in, the resident identifies themselves with the police, the decibel reading is at the point of the complaint, okay? But if it's an anonymous phone call, it's at your property line, okay? That's what the law is. I mean, I'm just saying that's what the law is. So I wanted to make sure you understood this as we're going forward. And and through the chair, my request was that Wednesday nights be at a lower decibel level.
Perfect, I agree with you.
You know, and that the on the weekends, I would suggest that the 80 decibel level, the same as we had in place with the other variants, just to be consistent.
Any problem there? I would just say tomorrow morning, call the clerk's office and fill out the proper application form, and I'll have her add that to the packet next week, so just so it's documented and we have it on file. Yeah. Go, Councilor Van Buren.
I just wanted to put in, just break it down. This is what we've done with other establishments. During weeknights, we only allow until 10. So Wednesday, Thursday, those would be your till 10 o'clock, till 10 p.m. Yeah, any bar that we've done, residential or otherwise, has been until 10 p.m. And on Sundays we did until 8 p.m. on Sundays.
Friday, Saturday, 1:30.
Friday and Saturdays 1:30, including Harborfest. And that's at 80 decibels for all of it?
Decibels, yeah.
At 80 decibels for all of it?
Yeah, I got it. Harborfest can be kind of hard to enforce it, but yeah, I'll do it.
No, we understand. Several bars have put in separate requests, but since you're putting in one blanket request, including Harborfest, that's what we'll do.
Any other questions?
So,
So, at 80 decibels, Wednesday and Thursday night until 10 p.m., Friday and Saturday night until 1:30 a.m., Sundays until 8 p.m., pending that you submit the proper form. Yep, city clerk tomorrow. She'll have it on the agenda. All right.
and that'll request a specific date range, so just make sure you give yourself the width of the season that you want to play. So just,
We're
from,
going to have 3 bands this summer.
that's fine, but just because you want to keep the option, just make sure you put like from June to September or whatever it is that you're looking for.
Any questions or concerns from the audience? Can I have a motion?
I'll second.
Counselor Barlow.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
And we need a resolution?
We'll get,
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
we'll get the clerk's office once he submits it.
Another piece of paper. Barb Sugar, City Clerk, received correspondence from Joan and Rick Goodman, residents of 304 Maple Street, for a variance or permit to operate outside the decibel limit set forth in order to host a rehearsal dinner barbecue on Thursday, July 9th, 2015, from 6:30 p.m. until 11:30 p.m. It's Joan or Rick and Councilor Van Buren.
Joan and Rick got a hold of me. They're hosting a rehearsal dinner for their daughter. It's just a one-night event. They've went and spoken to all the neighbors. No one has an issue with it.
Is this your ward?
It is. Nope, no problem.
Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Counselor Barlow.
Yes.
Counselor Walker. Yes. Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Any other business to come before this committee?
Second.
Counselor Barlow.
Yes.
Counselor Walker. Yes. Counselor Van Buren.
Yes. At this time, I'd like to call the Administrative Services Committee to order. Please call the roll.
Counselor Van Buren.
Here.
Counselor Enright.
Here.
Counselor Capelitz.
Here.
Counselor McLaughlin.
Here. A motion to approve the minutes of the May 18th, 2015 committee meeting.
I'll make a motion. Second.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Enright.
Yes.
Counselor Capelitz.
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin.
Yes. Is there any old business to come before this committee? Seeing none, move on to new business. Item number 1, under authorization, Brian Chetney, Director of the Oswego City County Youth Bureau, requests authorization for the mayor to sign the annual agreements between the City of Oswego and the Oswego YMCA for the operation of the East Side Youth Center and the skateboard park. And there's an attachment. Brian.
These are just yearly contracts that we do. We contract with the city. With state aid figures, we waited for the state to actually release the proper numbers before we drew them off standard year.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll take a motion.
Move it.
Second.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Enright.
Yes.
Counselor Capelitz.
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin.
Yes. Moving on to item number 2, Mike Riley, purchasing agent, requests authorization from the common council to lock in electric supply rates for either a 1 or 2 year period commencing on January 1st, 2016, provided the electric supply rate is less than 0.6 cents kilowatt hours. Mike here for it. Purchasing agent regularly brings us proposals to lock in rates. He constantly spends time hunting down better prices for us so we can save money. He does this year-round instead of just during budget time, so this is an annual thing that we do. If there's any questions or comments?
Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Enright?
Yes.
Counselor Capelitz?
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin?
Yes.
I have several add-ons that we'll have to go through tonight. Moving on, item number 3, Councilor Todd requests discussion for the mayor and common council to supply a letter to the chairman of the legislature for waiving of tipping fees. Councilor Todd was contacted by the West Side Neighborhood LLC. They are rehabbing a project, the old sorority house, and we are contacting the county to get their support in waiving the tipping fees to aid in this project. So we would like to authorize the mayor to send a letter and a letter on behalf of the council. Tipping fees are in excess of $2,500, so we'll be seeking that to be waived. Are there any questions or comments? Or would anyone from the Neighborhood LLC like to speak to that?
I'll make a motion. Oh, never mind.
Mr. Phillips.
I am one of the principals of the LLC.
I didn't have any questions. I just wanted to know if you guys wanted to say anything about the project or what you guys were doing. Just wanted to speak to it a little bit.
Sure, to make sure everybody's aware, this is the old sorority house that was on the corner of West 5th and Skyler. There were, I believe, a total of 18 neighbors that came together and pooled their resources to purchase the property. Building is being rehabbed and turned back into a single family, giving up the multiple residents, status, whatever it is. We have data that shows that when the house is restored, it will add in excess of $15,000. So, since this is a community project, nobody's making any money on it. Our plan is whatever the budget is, whatever it costs us to rehab it, that's what it will be sold for. Simply strengthen the neighborhood. If there happens to be a profit, then donated to the Oswego Renaissance Association. We don't have to fix the problem.
Thank you. Is there any questions or comments after that?
Motion.
Second.
Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Enright?
Yes.
Counselor Capelitz?
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin?
Yes.
And I'm not sure if there's a resolution. I don't have a copy.
All right, that'll come from our office, the council office.
Okay.
Was there any order from those pathways? Doesn't matter. Item number 4, Amy Birdsall, Planning and Zoning Director, received a request from Councilor Capelitz. The owner of 5 Primrose Path recently needed to obtain a front yard setback variance from the Zoning Board of Appeals in order to make the existing structure originally built in the 1980s legal. The owner needed to obtain the variance as a prerequisite for closing on the sale of the property. It appears that many of the houses adjacent to 5 Primrose Path were all built within the setbacks. As there must have been an error in the survey information at the time, approval for reimbursement of the $75 variance fee to the owner of the 5 Primrose Path is requested.
Just like it says, the owner came before the zoning board last week and had to pay the $75. It seems like it was an error in the survey that was done at the time when the house was built. So Councilman Capelitz asked that the fee be waived for that particular applicant or reimbursed.
Councilor?
I'll speak to that as well. When these homes were built in the 80s, there should have been variances granted to each of those property for setback by the city, and for some reason, none of the homes on Primrose So as they go to sell those homes, as this individual did, she finds that she needs to have the variance granted at a cost of current cost of $75, which I think is unfair for her fault. This is something the city should have dealt with back in the 80s. And I think for the rest of the residents, the second part of this discussion deals with the rest of the residents on Primrose, that if they wish now, they certainly could, unfortunately, have to pay for a survey to have it done, but as they go to sell their homes, the survey is done, they don't suggest that they do it, that we will waive the very responsibility about that long run.
Any questions or comments? Before we get a motion, I'd like to vote on both of these at the same time. Let's do 2 rounds of voting. One is to waive the zoning application fees, and one is to reimburse. Motion.
Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Enright?
Yes.
Counselor Capelitz?
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin?
Yes.
We need a resolution.
Yeah, I'll prepare.
Item number 5 is a revised travel budget from the Planning and Zoning Director. Amy?
Yes, when I was preparing my travel budget to go to the conference, the planning conference in Saratoga Springs at the end of this month, I miscalculated. I apologize. So I'm requesting an additional $250 to pay for travel expenses that I just didn't estimate properly.
Any questions or comments?
Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Enright?
Yes.
Counselor Capelitz?
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin?
Yes.
Item number 6 is a follow-up discussion on the sidewalk repair and replacement policy. A few meetings ago, we had a discussion about what we'd like to see done with the sidewalk policy, and we decided that we would make a recommendation to the mayor's office based on what we think the policy should be. I asked the councilors to weigh in, and Councilor McLaughlin submitted a proposal that I worked on with them, make some changes, so we've got that here tonight. Basically, we would be going back to a flag system. There would be a number of flags allocated to each counselor for the ward. They would be charged with handling the disbursement of those flags, and that would be in conjunction with the Department of Public Works. We would establish a budget line item to put money into that account, and it would be the only account accessible for sidewalk repairs, so that we would know exactly what we were putting into that. We also instituted a policy within here that would allow only 4 flags to be placed in front of any one property per owner. Anything above that could be done, but it has to be requested, and the Department of Public Works will submit an estimate for the cost, and then it'll be the responsibility of the owner. So I would ask you guys to weigh in on this. I have one item I'd like to discuss about it. I'd just like to hear what your thoughts are. Councilor Walker.
Chair, I was just thinking out loud. The gentleman wants to get the 4 flags. He wants to do 6 more. He gets charged for, right? What would be the charge for? You know, how much would...
It would depend on, the DPW would issue an estimate. So it would be the cost per flag and then labor would be. I believe last year it was around $60 per flag without counting labor. That's just material. And then they would have to estimate the cost. And then obviously that has to get built into your schedule. So you're allocating more time in one specific area. That has to weigh into your decision to do additional work.
See, that's what I was just thinking. Because I got one section, I'm going to tell you, there's 10 flags right there shot. You know, from the trees. And that's city property trees that are heating them. There's 10 flags there. No, you can't have that. You don't have to get 4. That's, you know. Or, I mean, or I could.
You could do a number
put
of
my
years.
whole allotment there and no one else gets done. I mean, mean, it's a tough situation, I understand. There's city sidewalks, that's the way I look at it. They must be repaired.
Councilman McGlone.
We're not going to do them all overnight, obviously. So, I mean, you could figure a yearly process in that area.
And just to-
Four flags this year, maybe 4 flags next year.
I think just to follow up with Councilman McLaughlin, I have to agree with this, because I think what I saw was really, on the rotation schedule that we were previously on, we'd see a section with 10 flags getting done, a few places in the first, or the, second and fourth ward, and then by the time we got to 9, they'd be able to do 2 or 3 flags, and then they're jumping to the west side, or 1 flag last year. But, that's how that goes. So, I see the merit in having a certain number of flags being allocated to each ward, so that you have to budget your time and scheduling so that it's being fair.
Well, could I ask you this? How can let the counselor figure out where the 10 flags are going? Because if there's one really bad spot, I'd blow my 10 flags up just for that one person to do the whole set. Instead of coming back next year and replace 2 or 3 more. That's just me thinking about it.
Well, that's what we're looking for with this discussion.
Yes.
Mr. Campbell.
Yeah, I agree with Councilor Walker. I think if we have, there are some where we done, we can, and allocate the 10 if it comes. I'm curious about the math here. So each council gets 10 flags, but we're saying that we're about a total of 105.
That piece I was going to discuss. I didn't add that language in because I wanted to talk to you guys. There's an additional 35 flags in there for city-owned sidewalks within each ward for us to designate time for. Obviously, that would be at the discretion. So Oak Hill Park, there's several sections in there that I would like replaced. That's going to take away from my residential scheduling. So if I take it for properties, then I have to weigh that in. So we wanted to increase that in case there's a way to do it.
Well, that was going to, so my question is, so we're limiting the DPW to do 105 flags per year? Is that the limitation? Or
No, this is just the council allocated, us putting it to work.
Well, and that's kind of my point with as it comes to the priority of the way flags are done, because I have observed on occasion that there's flags that get done that in my mind are not anywhere near as bad as some that should be done. And, and I understand that, we have other flags to do and there's other arrangements that are made between homeowners and the city, but if we're not doing our worst flags, we're not doing a service to the taxpayers. And I really think, you got a cracked flag, that's one thing, but when you got one that's heaved and somebody can hurt themselves on, those are the ones we really need to prioritize. And as a DPW, between the mayor and the DPW and this council, we got to make sure that we're addressing those worst case scenarios first. And I know that we have an obligation here to continue to work on this. But to be honest with you, without knowing what the total work being done is, as it relates to the sidewalks and flags and the potential liability that we have as a city with this, I think we need to understand, totally what the priorities are for sidewalk repair, how many we're doing, so we have a handle on this number, in my mind, probably ought to be closer to 50 per councilor. And we talked before about actually having a contract so that in addition to what the DPW may be doing, we could actually have at least a contractor on call to do additional flags, because 10 flags, I don't think in any of our wards is anywhere near enough. That's just my opinion.
The 10 flags was just a starting point, by the way.
Yeah.
It's just a number I threw on there to start the discussion. We can increase it, whatever.
Councilor Henry.
I think it's great that we're talking about this again, because I think probably everybody has been getting these phone calls about needing their sidewalks replaced. And, I've walked on the ward, and I agree with Councilor Capowitz. I've got some that are lifted 4 inches due to tree routes and heave that are critical to get done that are right in the path for HarborFest, where people are walking all the time. And I've got some requests that the sidewalks are just broken, but there's really no tripping hazard, apparently. But on the other hand, we also have curbing, and that I feel is, in some instances, is just as important as a sidewalk. Are we going to handle a certain linear footage of curbing to equate to, say, a flag, so you can use for an allocation? Because I have some homes that are getting their side lawns are being washed away by some of the rains because the curbing was removed and not there. So can we talk about that? Councilman LaBelle.
No, I haven't even thought about it, to be honest with you. The curbing, I believe, is already the city's responsibility, if I'm not mistaken, Commissioner.
No comment. Council, by and large, curbing is what has been done by the city of Orange County. The one exception to that is if a homeowner is doing some improvement in the driveway, they are responsible for replacing some curbs that might be taken up for that project. Currently, yes, I'd say that. For the most part, all of that falls on the city or contracted for the city.
Yeah, I mean, currently we have, what do you have, one group of guys that are doing sidewalks, one team? How many teams do we have? Because, you know, I've run into problems with late in the season and I can't get anything done.
The honest answer right now is that we do not have anybody dedicated to concrete.
And then, of course, those curbs are located next to our roads, which if we're going to talk infrastructure as well. And we've had this discussion, and I know that we're somewhere in the midst of a bidding process right now with respect to our roads. We have, is it 88 miles? How many miles road, Commissioner? 88 miles?
86.7.
And at some point, we need to get a handle on what the state allegedly does 104 every 10 years, but we seem to be in a 12 or 13-year cycle now. And I'm hoping we hear soon about what the outcome is going to be of 104, because what's going on the west side at the forks of the road has become a real embarrassment, in my opinion, and a hazard for those folks driving through our city. But we have other roads in this city that we still need to make a very bold statement about what we're going to do, what's the game plan, not only for this year, but years to come, so that we have a regular, routine maintenance schedule for infrastructure that will never have enough money to be able to resolve improving that infrastructure.
Councilor Todd has been meeting with Senator Ritchie's office regularly. They've informed us that they have expedited the 104 project. Some of you may have seen DOT trucks out taking survey marks and measuring the road and prepping for plans to be made for them to bid out the project. I do not think it will be paved this year, but the plans and specs are actually being done now, which they were not on slate to be done this year. So we've already seen some movement on that end, thanks to Councilor Todd. Mr. Stewart?
Other than just a block of cash, there's no project. Courage got a street in one of our target areas where the residents would like to see the sidewalks improved. If they go into at least 5 homeowners on a project, reviewed every April, sidewalks are part of that. That is a resource that's available. So I would encourage, they're competitively reviewed, you can't fund everything, but that's something that can be part of the beautification improvement project for the residents. Please be aware of that. In some cases, we can award a block up to $3,000.
Anyone else? Councilor Walker.
While we're on the pavement, where do we stand? You know, I'd like to know where we're standing.
As Councilor Capowitz stated, we're receiving the bid specs now.
Well, I understand that part, but the DPW is going to do so much, and we haven't heard nothing on that yet.
We address the commission.
We are currently working on all of our road cuts in-house. I had discussions last week and this week with, about the bidding process. I'd like to think that could be out maybe sometime early next week. We can get the bid spec out and contract. As soon as I get the road cuts done, then we'll try to get it into some residential paving with our own road.
Any other questions or comments? Now moving on to executive session. Item number 8, Rita Tickle, Personnel Director, requests an executive session regarding the medical, financial, or credit or employment history of a particular person or corporation or matters leading to appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person or corporation regarding the Taylor Law.
Mr. Chairman, that's the one that was put on the agenda by the state.
Oh, and there.
The one that I want to do is the one that we did tonight. And the things that they were kind of complicated.
Oh, I'm sorry. Collective negotiations pursuant to Article 14 of the Taylor Law of Civil Suits. Have a motion.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Enright.
Yes.
Counselor Capowitz.
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin.
Yes. Okay. Hey, boss, how are you?